Hey everybody, welcome back. In our last session, we used Google Forms to collect student data. Today, we are going to talk about how to use Google Sheets effectively to make sense of this data. So to start with, I'm going to use a Google form that I've already created and given out to students. So here's my form and I'm going to click Responses and View in Sheets. To protect my students' data, I have already edited my original sheet with different names, but you will just click View in Sheets and it will look just like this. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make a copy of this data. This is going to allow you to edit, customize it, and manipulate it much easier, and you're not going to lose your original content. So you're going to select this Select All square up here, click Edit, Copy, or Control-C, and then push this plus button here, push your Select All again, and then you're going to click Edit, Paste Special Values Only. Now you have your data. These are my made-up student names. And when I look at my data, there's some stuff on here that is not helpful to me at all. I don't need a timestamp, and I don't need to know my students' email addresses. So step one, delete anything extra that is going to make your data confusing. So I'm going to go to column A, push Shift, and click column B. Now I'm going to go to Edit, Delete, and I want to delete columns A through B. So now that data is gone, and I had just what I need. Now that we've deleted the extras, we are going to move on to step 2, which is to wrap our text. This is going to make everything cleaner and easier to read. So again, you're going to push this Select All button right here, and then you're going to choose the Wrap Text button. It looks like this, and you want to do the one that has the arrow that says Wrap. Now it's going to make your columns bigger, but you're going to be able to read everything inside of them. I also like to take this opportunity to center it to the middle and make sure everything is aligned to the left. So now that everything is wrapped and aligned so it's easy to read, we are going to freeze rows or columns. So in this case, since it's a quiz, I want to actually freeze the questions themselves. To do that, I noticed that this row here, row 1, is where all my questions are. So you are going to go to View, Freeze, and I want to freeze one row. What this means is that no matter where I scroll, that question is going to be right there at the top. So as I'm looking at it, I can always remember what the question is. I like to freeze names, which is freezing the column, when I'm looking at long lists of data. You know, the data where you have to scroll all the way to the right to plug in all of their information and then you forget which child you're looking at. If you freeze that column, the student's name follows throughout, so you don't have to try to memorize the line and go back. It saves a lot of time. Now we're going to talk about creating a title. This is going to make it so when I look at this data, I know exactly what I'm looking at. So to create a title, I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to select Insert one row above. Now this row is here, but it's divided into separate columns. I don't want that. So I'm going to push right here. This says Merge Cells. So now all of this is going to be one. This is going to allow me to type a title. So for this, I'm going to title it Fire and Water. Obviously this title is small. I want to make it big. Let's make it a 50. Let's make it Montserrat. Let's bold it and let's put it in the middle. So you'll see that is actually the middle because my data goes all the way over. Now I'm going to show you how to fix that right now. All of those extra areas over there are columns and I'm not needing them for my data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with M because that's the first blank column. And then I'm going to push Control, Shift, and the right arrow key. What that does, it's now selected every column. I'm going to click Edit, Delete, M through X. And I can do the same thing with rows. So what you're going to do is start at 44, Control, Shift, down, and you're just going to keep pushing down until you can't reach anymore. 1001. Now you're going to push edit, delete, rows 44 through 1001. Now we have exactly what we need for our data, and my title is centered. One last thing I want to do to help me make this data readable, and then we're going to jump into actually how to help the data talk to you. So we're going to go to Format, Alternating Colors. And I'm going to choose which one I like. I'm going to pick this light blue one over here. And I'm going to click Done. So now this has caused it so every row alternates colors, so it's a lot easier for my eyes to look at this data without it being overwhelmed with all the white everywhere. Okay, it is now time to actually help this data talk to you. So what we are going to do is we have to create an answer key first. So to create that answer key, you are going to go to your row 2, right-click it, and select Insert One Row Below. You could title it if you want Answer Key, just so you know what it is. And then you are going to select what the right answer is for all of these. So in this case, I know the right answer for this is C. It causes Zeus to become angry. And I'm just going to plug in what the right answer is. This kiddo got 100, so I know all of their answers are correct, which is very helpful. I'm just going to plug in all of these correct answers, just using Control-C, Control-V to make it nice and quick. Okay, now that all of my answer keys have been plugged in, I can actually start to create conditional formatting. So let me show you how we're going to do that. First, I'm going to click on column C because that is where the first question starts. I'm going to click Format and Conditional Formatting. Over here are my parameters. This says it's going to start at C1, which is my title. I do not want it to start at C1. I want it to start with my first student, which is Sarah. So that is C4. And I want it to end with my last student, which is Sky, so all the way to C44. So that's perfect parameters. Now I'm going to put my rules. My rule that I want is that I want the text to say exactly what the correct answer is. So text contains, and I'm going to copy what I want it to say, the whole thing from my answer key. And then I'm going to say if it has that, I want it to be green. Then I'm going to click Add Another Rule. This one also is going to go C3 to C44. If the text does not contain that rule, I want it to be red. So now I can quickly look and see the answer key obviously hasn't been affected, but I can quickly scroll and see all the green are the students that got that question correct and the red are the students that got that question wrong. When we add filters in a little bit, this is going to be especially helpful so you can quickly see your reds and your greens. So what you're going to do is you're going to apply that all the way throughout. So same steps. I'll do it one more time with you. You're going to select the column, click Add Another Rule. I want it from D4 to D44. I want it to say text contains. I want it to say exactly the correct answer. And then I want it to be green if it has the correct answer. Done. Add another rule. D4 to D44. Text does not contain. And it is going to be red. So you're going to do that all the way across until you've done it for every single question. Okay, so I went ahead and finished so you can easily see that all of the data is plugged in and I can quickly spot which students have missed which questions. This helps me to spot those patterns easily and see which students need more intervention than others. Okay, here comes some of my favorite things. This is how we're really going to help the data speak to you. What you're going to do is scroll all the way down to the bottom and you're going to create 2 new rows. Insert one row below, insert another row below. Now over here, we're going to title this Total Correct, and then we're going to title this Average Correct. You're going to notice when I did that, it went ahead and made all of the formulas go to 46. So I'm just going back right now and changing them all so they end at 44. So we don't have red randomly on the bottom there. Okay, so now all my cells are back to not having any conditional formatting in them. Now to get the total number of correct answers, you could go through and count them all, but we are going to make this a little simpler. So we are going to use a formula. You're going to select the cell you want, go to Insert and Function and Count. Now I don't want just count, so you're going to push backspace and you're going to see that it says count if. This is what I want. I only want to count it if C4 all the way through C44, my students' answers, is equivalent to C3, my answer key. That means that if all of these answers, starting with Sarah all the way to Sky, are the same as C3, it's going to count it. So that means that for this first question, I had 38 students get it correct. I don't have to do this equation every time because I want the same thing. I want everything to be equal to the answer choice. So all I get to do is drag it all the way across, and it's going to show me quickly for each question how many students got each one right. Now, if you want to get the average, an actual percent, so you can see which percent of students got it right, the formula is very similar. Again, you're going to go to Insert, Function, and you're going to go to Count. We're going to type count if. Same thing as before, C4 to C44 is equivalent to C3, divided by, now I want to count. So I'm going to put count. And I want to put count all of column A. I should probably put it in capital. Okay. And I want it to be all of C4 to C44. And I have this percentage, 92.6%. Now, this is going to be a little confusing to look at. So let's take a look at how we can make this simpler. All I have to do is select it and push this percent button, and it turns it into a percent. If I only want it to be just a 92 or a 93, you're going to go over here and you're going to decrease the decimal places, and it's automatically going to round up for you. So this is 93% of the class got that question right. Again, I can drag and drop, and I can easily see, oh man, this one here is my lowest area. 76% of my students got this question right. And I could see this one here is my highest. 95% of my students got this question right. And it's going to help me hone in on what I really need to be teaching. Bonus for you, you could also add additional benchmarks on the bottom so you can know exactly which specific benchmark needs readdressing. And step 10 now, we are going to add our filters so you can see how to easily sort. So to do this, all we have to do is select the data we want. So I want everything except, I don't want the percentages down here. I want from the question all the way down to the last student, which is Sky. Now I'm going to push data and create a filter. So here's what's really cool. If I only want to see which students missed this question, I'm going to go to here and I'm going to say filter by color, and I want to see all the reds. So now it's going to show me Harry, George, Tyrell. Those 3 students missed this question. And I can go through and filter by each question to see which students missed that question. This allows you to make your small groups a little easier and more manageable. All right, guys. So those are my tips for you, my top 10 tips to helping make Google Sheets more effective. So here's my big takeaway. Google Forms collect your data, but Google Sheets help you actually use your data. When your sheet is set up like this, you spend a lot less time thinking and a lot more time being able to make these instructional decisions. Be sure to check out my Thompson tips on the next slide and try out some of these skills on your own. And I'll see you in the next video as we get you one step closer to being a Google Master.